The Declaration of Independence had a mission. A young Virginia delegate was tasked with making it clear to all that Britain was deliberately and systematically infringing and taking the colony's rights. That man was Thomas Jefferson. He was born April 13, 1743. His father, Peter Jefferson, was a self-taught planner and surveyor who regretted not having a formal education. So at 5 years old, Thomas was sent to school. Young Jefferson soon acquired a love for knowledge which stayed with him his whole life. He was admitted to the Virginia bar in 1767. As a lawyer, he took 7 cases for freedom-seeking slaves. Events would change the course of his life, such as the Stamp Act, which required a tax on every transaction in America without anyone in the colonies having voted on it. This caused such an upheaval that most of the new taxes were repealed, except for the Tea Act. If the colonies accepted this small infringement on their rights, then Parliament could bring the old taxes back under new names. They soon got their answer with the Boston Tea Party. The Sons of Liberty dumped a shipment of tea into the harbor, today amounting to over $1 million. The British Parliament was furious. They passed the Intolerable Acts meant to punish the Massachusetts colonists for the Boston Tea Party. Jefferson wrote a resolution calling for a day of fasting and prayer in protest, later expanding it into a summary view of the rights of British America. Tensions escalated. The Continental Congress sent the Olive Branch Petition as a final attempt to avoid war. The king's response was to hire Hessian mercenaries to suppress the rebellion. To some, their course was clear. A declaration dissolving their connection with the mother country was necessary, but it needed to be stated in such a way to convince their loyalist countrymen to join them. First point. Our rights emanate from God, not from kings or government. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Second, that when any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it. Third, indictment. The King of Great Britain is guilty of 27 specific abuses, including infringing with the colony's right to self-government and fair judicial system, instituted legislation that affected the colonies without their consent, including levying taxes. It also required them to quarter British soldiers, removed their right to trial by jury, and prevented them from trading freely. Additionally, refusing to protect the colony's borders, and confiscation of American ships at sea. Fourth point, the Founding Fathers did not take declaring independence lightly, and neither should future generations. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transit causes. With a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. 56 delegates signed this document knowing it meant war with the most powerful empire on earth. The ideas in this document are so powerful that they would inspire freedom around the world even today. The United States won the war, but how would America be different? Before this point, everyone had to attend and pay dues to the Church of England. Jefferson wrote and helped pass the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom, which would be a forerunner for the First Amendment. After this, he would largely focus on big government. He wrote, I predict future happiness for Americans if they can prevent the government from wasting the labors of the people under the pretense of taking care of them. Jefferson would have a busy career, serving as the second governor of Virginia, United States Minister of France, Secretary of State, Vice President, then President of the United States. As President, he lowered the national debt from $83 million to $57 million, and fought Barbary pirates securing America's ships at sea. To help America grow, Jefferson sent James Monroe and Robert Livingston merely to buy Louisiana. Its port was crucial to America's expansion westward. When France counteroffered to sell all of Louisiana territory, some 827,000 square miles, for 3 cents an acre. A terrific deal, but there was a problem. The Constitution didn't specifically say the President could buy land. It does say, the President shall have power, by and with the advice and consent of the Senate, to make treaties, provided 2/3 of the senators present concur. Jefferson perceived this was no ordinary treaty, and so wasn't sure if he had the authority, making it controversial only to himself. So as not to stretch the rules, Jefferson drew up an amendment to the Constitution, but James Madison and Albert Gillington convinced him that such an amendment was unnecessary, time-costly, and risky. After all, there was the chance France might change their mind. After deliberation, Jefferson conceded that he was already legally right, and 3 cents an acre, doubling America's land, including the greatest farmland in the world, which would propel America to become a superpower, was too good a deal to wait. In 1807, 3 weeks before Britain abolished the Atlantic slave trade, Jefferson signed a law prohibiting the importation of slaves into any port or place within the jurisdiction of the United States. After leaving office, most presidents write a book. A 76-year-old Jefferson founded the University of Virginia, believing a system of education was essential to democracy. Jefferson was a true visionary who saw what America could become, a leader dedicated to the rights of man. How could have America gone without Thomas Jefferson? Fortunately for all, it didn't have to. I'm Matthew Williams. Thank you for watching.